Welcome to the video on unbalanced growth theory. Unbalanced growth theory is the unbalanced growth strategy. This is the development strategy for the development of less developed countries or low income economies. This is a development strategy for breaking the vicious circle of poverty as far as the poor economies or low income economies are concerned. So, as per the unbalanced growth theory or unbalanced growth strategy for the development of UDCS or underdeveloped countries, investment should be made in priority sectors only. Unlike the balanced growth theory, investment should not be made in many sectors or all sectors simultaneously. Investment should be made in selective sectors or in priority sectors only. So there should be no balanced investment, unlike the strategy put forward by the balanced growth theory. No balanced investment strategy is recommended. Unbalanced investment strategy is recommended here, as the low income economies are already suffering from a lack of resources, lack of capital, so they don't have the resources to make such a huge investment. So unbalanced growth strategy is recommended for the development of lower income economies. Just have a look at the economics associated with this unbalanced growth theory or unbalanced growth strategy. This is propounded by, the theory is propounded initially by the Albert Hirschman, supported by H.W. Singer, C.P. Kindleberger, Paul Stratton and W.W. Rostow. And look again into the approach. As per the unbalanced growth theory, development is possible. Development can be attained through deliberate unbalancing in the economy. That is why this is called unbalanced growth theory. So the theory argues that government should make investment in social overhead capital or public infrastructure that could lead to private investment. So government should not make any private investment. Government just make investment in public infrastructure. Infrastructure should be built. That means social infrastructure should be built. So that could lead to that could stimulate private investment, and this is the balanced growth. Balanced growth could be possible through unbalanced strategy. That is the unbalanced growth theory. And let's now look at the social overhead capital. What is social overhead capital? Social overhead capital, SOC, is the public infrastructure, not just infrastructure. This is public infrastructure, the infrastructure which is jointly used, or the benefit is jointly shared, and this is in fact welfare oriented investment, that is investment in public infrastructure. The investment in investment for road construction, highways construction, district road construction, any type of road construction is SOC. Then bridges, construction of bridges, dams, investment in transportation sector, investment in water transportation sector, road transportation sector, investment in power sector. All these are the investment in social overhead capital. These are in fact the priority sectors of the developing economies or the low income economies. So as per the theory, investment in these public infrastructure could normally stimulate the investment in private or investment in direct production activities, or private investment will be stimulated, and this is the development process as per the unbalanced growth theory. Let's have a brief look at it. Look at the first box where you can see the deliberate unbalancing is a strategy. So when deliberate unbalancing is the that means investment will be made in leading sectors or priority sectors of the economy. That could be normally social overhead capital or public infrastructure. So it will create new investment opportunities normally. So when investment is made in highways, it could stimulate the economy, it could help the goods transportation, labor movement will be possible, the tourists can go and come, the personal travels can be made. So both personal and business purposes will be met through the construction of highways. So it could stimulate new investment opportunities, new companies will be formed, new factories will be constructed. So that could finally lead to economic development of the economic development. And the proponent of the theory is Albert Hirschman. According to Albert Hirschman, there are two series of investment that could lead to economic development and growth. One is convergent series of investment, second one is divergent series of investment. Convergent series of investment refers to the investment in direct production activity, for example investment in agriculture, investment in manufacturing, investment in some factories, investment in some sectors, private sectors. So these investments leads to economic growth. That is a way of growth. That is convergent series. But that type of the unbalanced growth theory suggests the government to make investment in SOC. So it will create divergent series of investment. That means investment in SOCs will attract new investment in direct production activity. Direct production activities are the directly income earning activities. That could be agricultural sector, that could be the manufacturing sector, that could be the construction sector, that could be the services also. And investment in public infrastructure will surely leads to or it will stimulate the investment in direct production activity. That is divergent series of investment. And let's have a look at the direct production activity. That could be manufacturing, that could be agriculture. A construction of a shopping complex in a town is also investment in direct production activity. When a person starts a shop by the road is also investment in direct production activity. So when there is no road, no shop will come by the road. That means when government invests in road, the people invest in shopping complexes, people invest in shop. And so this is the kind of investment that could be possible after the investment in SOC, that could stimulate the investment in direct production activity. The investment in social overhead capital or public infrastructure will finally lead to economic growth. And this is the process for that. Investment in SOC leads to encourages the production sectors, that will stimulate the investment in direct production activity, that will be the income earning activities will be stimulated. Finally, economic growth is the end result of investment in social overhead capital. As you can see, the construction of highways will stimulate new investment. Even real estate sector will be stimulated as the price of the nearby places will shoot up. The goods transportation will be stimulated, the labor movement will be facilitated, and tourism will also be promoted when highways are constructed. And all these are the pictures showing some of the significant infrastructure. This is dam. When investment in dam is made, the agriculture will be promoted. When irrigation is smoothened, and power generation will also be stimulated when it is used, when the water is used for the generation of hydroelectricity. And this is the diagram showing the growth through unbalanced growth theory. Let me try to explain this diagram simply. You can see in the horizontal, along the horizontal axis, cost of social overhead capital is measured. That means investment in SOC is measured along horizontal axis, and investment in direct production activity is measured along vertical axis. So initially, when Q1, Q2, Q3 are the three levels of GDP. Q1 shows lower GDP, Q2 is better GDP, Q3 is the highest GDP in the diagram, and the 45-degree line shows the balanced growth. That means social overhead capital is equal to direct production activity. That's the balanced investment in SOC, and that means it shows the balanced growth. So for achieving the higher balanced growth, unbalancing is done here. Let's look. So from A is on the lower isocone Q1. That means it is the lower GDP of the economy. Economic level is too low. So from that level, government makes investment in social overhead capital, or highways are constructed, and investment is massively made. Then A becomes A1. That means this is an unbalancing. No investment is made by the government in direct production activity, but when investment is made by the government on SOC, it will stimulate direct production activities, and A will become B1. So that means B1 is on the higher isocone. That means when both investment is when both investment come, GDP of the economy has increased to Q2 from Q1. When still government makes investment in SOC, it will again stimulate the direct production activity. It will then reach C1. C1 is the higher or highest isocone level. When so this is the kind of economic growth possible as per the unbalanced growth theory of Albert Hirschman. So let me conclude today's presentation on unbalanced growth. We have a couple of more topics in the same theory. We will go to it in the next day. Let me conclude today's presentation. We talked about unbalanced growth theory. Unbalanced growth theory is a strategy for the development of low income economies, and the balanced growth is possible through unbalancing in the economy. That means government makes investment only in social overhead capital. It will surely stimulate the direct production activity. So then the balanced growth will finally be possible through unbalancing in the economy. So finally economic growth will be the result of unbalanced growth theory. Thank you.